Slack and E Major welcome you to the My Type of Hype podcast, where we celebrate hip-hop, not just the hype.
How y'all feel out there?
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the My Type of Hype podcast, episode 3. And as promised last week, we've got some special guests in the building, as you could see. So with no further ado, man, we ain't going to waste no time waffling before we get into what's going on this week, man. So as always, your boy Slack in the building with my co-pilot, my co-defendant, and my co-host of the show. E, what's happening, bro?
I'm good, man. E Major in the house. Yes, we're here as always. My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip hop and not just the hype. And like Slack said last week, and like he just said, we got some guests on the show today. Like we said, when we come back with a podcast, you know, we want to focus on our discussions, album reviews, and interviews, man, and just people's music that we enjoy, people that we see, you know, doing something for the culture. We're trying to have them on, man, specifically underground artists, obviously, and just further the culture, man. This thing that we love. It's not worth saying how much we love hip hop, man, if we're not supporting and trying to move it forward as well. So that's what today is going to be. So we're glad to have Furious Stylez and Numbz in the building. So Numbz, you want to kick us off? Little introduction, just a little welcome. Thanks for joining us, man. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. I appreciate y'all having me, man. It's been a pleasure getting to know y'all on Twitter for sure. I'm Numbz. I'm from New Jersey, North New Jersey in particular. MC and a producer. You know, just got a love for the culture, love for the art, love for the craft. Real student of the game. Whether it's, you know, old school rap, newer school rap. You know, I listen to a lot of different genres, especially a lot of oldies. That's where I get a lot of my sound from, and especially like beats I like to rap on, and samples I like to produce and things like that. So just a pleasure being on with y'all, man.
Oh, nice. Furious Stylez, what you saying, bro? How are you, man?
What's going on, guys? Appreciate y'all for having me. First off, I'm multitasking. I'm dadding right now, taking my daughter to the dentist. But yeah, I'm from East Chicago, Indiana, right next to Gary. I grew up in Gary, Indiana as well. Been living in Memphis since 2015. Man, you know, being from that area, man, but my older cousin, I don't know how, but he was real engaged in boom bap. So I grew up on RZA, you know what I'm saying? Of course, Wu-Tang, Grave Diggers, like the real boom bap, you know? And so that was what influenced my sound. So me being from that area, it wasn't normal, you know, but like that's what we knew. So, you know, when I came from, there was Crucial Conflict, Do or Die, Twister, things like that. So I kind of got that sound, but you know, but my older cousin also, he introduced me to Boot Camp Click and J. Rue the Damager. So I kind of mixed all that in, man. I just loved it. I got my first beat machine when I was 15. You know, so,
I love that, man. I love that. I love hearing that people got into the culture, man. That's dope.
Exactly, man. So you know what, that kind of goes nice into the first question I was hoping to ask, man. So Numbz, I'll start with you, bro. Just what would you say got you into I know you're a double-edged sword, you rap and you make beats, so what got you into both of them? Either or you can start with, but like what would you say was actually catalyst that got, because you know we love the culture, we take it in, we're recipients of it, but what made you say I actually want to write bars myself and I actually want to make music myself? What would that be for you, man?
Just being from North New Jersey, being influenced by like guys like Redman and guys like that, but really I was a huge Mobb Deep fan. It's gonna sound crazy, Havoc in particular, that I liked a lot. So I started rapping at 13 with another kid that I went to school with, and at that time the raps were whack, but I mean we was you know, we was still learning the craft, trying to do what they do, trying to, you know, emulate Biggie and stuff like that. But it did set a foundation for you know, kind of tapping into the culture and things like that. So it was kind of like, you know, something to do. I felt like I was good at it at that time. I mean, looking back, obviously it wasn't great, but yeah, just being influenced by hip hop. I had an older brother, 7 years older, so he used to have all the Rakim, all the Kane, tapes like that, and you know, I was just immersed in it. So that was kind of like the gradual next step for me.
No, I hear that, man. So you'd say that they were your like main influences, and when you was trying to write as well, did you feel? And it's interesting that you said Havoc. I don't think it's that crazy, to be honest, because I definitely went through stages where I thought Havoc was the guy lyrically, and we know that he actually was. You know what I mean? He was the rapper of the crew at first. You know what I'm saying? So, would you say it was a struggle though to not try and sound like someone who influences you heavily? Because that's something I always find interesting.
I felt like at that time, like I being that age, that's what you want to do. You want to like that's success at that time, right? So if you sound like Havoc, maybe you could get a deal. So it's at that age, I felt like I was trying to like do what they do because obviously at that time that's what success looked like on that level.
I hear that, man. Stylez, for you, man. I know you mentioned it a little bit at the intro there, but just to elaborate a little bit more, what would you say got you into making beats specifically?
Oh, okay. Well, it's crazy is because my high school, East Chicago Central, they had this class called Recording Lab, and it's this beat machine called the Boss DR5. They had maybe 8 or 10 of them. So guys were skipping class, skipping lunch, and it'd be like 50 to 100 dudes in there recording mixtapes. Well, whatever you want to call it, compilations back then. And so my house was on the first block from the school. And I noticed everybody was in there. And I'm like, dude, if I could get this beat machine, I could get all the guys to come to my house. And of course, I loved hip hop and things like that. So I looked up how much the DR5 cost back then. It was $600. I knew my mom couldn't buy it. So I got me a job at Burger King just to buy the DR5. You know what I'm saying? And so when I told everybody, of course, nobody believed me until I showed them. I'm like, look, I got the DR5. So, you know what I'm saying? So school ended 2:15. And then guys, and then the late bus is 4:15. So guys will come to my house between those 2 hours, record tracks, go back home. I bought a CD burner, everything like that. So I did everything in the basement, like the basement that I have. And that's how I became, I did all that when I was 15 years old. And I had guys from different neighborhoods that wasn't even supposed to be around each other, different gangs, recording music. I did everything.
That's dope, man. I like that.
That's so dope, man. Oh man, that's a real hip hop story right there, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
For real, you know what I mean? You had to get the job to get the equipment. Man, that sounds very similar, man, to how me and my little crew when we was starting rapping and stuff like that. Exactly the same. So one of my boys, he would cut hair in order to get enough money for us to, you know what I mean, to do with that, man. That was the real hip hop come up back in the day, because if I went to my mum or my dad and I was like, I want money to record, or they'll be like, what? Just what are you talking about? Record.
That's a joke.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, there's no way I could explain to my mom I wanted this music thing that was $600. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I got a job at Burger King, and then even back then, now, of course, everything's from your phone, but I used to walk to Walgreens or whatever, CVS. And back then, CDRWs was a 5-pack for $3. So I would go up there with $5 or $10. And then when I would record the guys, I would sell it at school for $5. So one CD, I made my money back. You know what I'm saying? I was just flipping it. You know what I'm saying? So I was hustling.
That's dope, man. So, when we talk about hip hop and people think we're just talking about the music, but it's so much more than that. And this conversations like this, hopefully we'll let people know that it's not just music, man. This whole culture is all about how we were when we was kids, what we had to do to get the music, how we had to buy it, and all of that kind of stuff, man. It's all part of it. So that's why we're so passionate about it.
Agreed, man. Very, very true. Slack, man.
So my question, man, is I come up on you guys obviously on Twitter. You guys are super cool. And then I came up on your music. I can't even remember how. I think it was something Killer put up one time, but I was like, that's dope. And then I think I messaged you, Numbz, and I was like, yo, big respect on the music and all of that. And then from there, we kind of started talking, and Numbz was putting up on his music early, like, bro, I got something coming in a week. Let me know if you're rocking with it. And I was really rocking with it, man. It was dope. And the fact that you do your beats and you rap as well, double threat, dope. So what do you think about the current climate of hip hop, man? Because as we were just saying, leads in nicely again, from how we came up as kids to having to do all of this just to enjoy the music that we love, where kids now just have it on their phones and everything is just so easy. How do you evaluate the current climate of hip hop, man? What do you think of it compared to what we came up with as kids?
I mean, I think I think since the effort to make music is so minimal, like you're getting a higher volume of it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was rapping, when I was rapping when I was younger, I was fortunate enough to a friend of mine had a studio like around the corner, so that worked out for me. But like when you have to go to a studio, when you have to pay for time, when you have to pay for producers, and now you can go to YouTube, get a free beat. You can go to BeatStars. You know, you got people on BeatStars selling 10 beats for $20. You know what I'm saying? So in that type of market, like, and then people can record from their phone. Like the younger guys are amazing with what they can actually do. The product's not always great, but the fact that they can just, and then you can upload everything from your phone. So I think it's heavily oversaturated. If it was harder to record, where people had to get the studio, like you have to be really serious about your craft to pay money for studio, to pay producers real money and stuff like that. So I think because that element is out of it, even rappers that I didn't love but took the effort to do all that, like I respected that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're really investing in yourself. You really like, taking the time to hone your craft and stuff like that. So even if I didn't like, I just think it's just so easy to put out music that it oversaturates the market. With that said, I think there's a lot of good rappers, like anywhere from 19 to 55 years old. But it's just it's just so much of it, and it's just so easy. So I think it gets watered down a lot.
Yeah, I'd have to fully agree with that, man. Yeah. What about you, Furious, man? How you feel?
Well, I grew up like basically idolizing like Primo and RZA and Havoc. So just being able to be heard is life changing for me. So I don't care about being a superstar. You know what I'm saying? But just the fact that, I'm talking to you guys now. So like I said, I'm a dude from East Chicago. People don't even know what that is. Like a lot of people don't know what it is. So to just be able to be heard by someone is just good enough for me. And then the fact that I'm compared to certain people, and even just in the conversation, just being a part of the conversation is like a childhood dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Good question. Yeah, man. So, I mean, start out's a good question. You know what I mean? How you feel about the culture and the music and just how things are today. Definitely agree with the oversaturated market because of the ease of it. It's so easy to do. I mean, I was having a discussion with someone not too long ago just about streaming. Me and Slack talk about this all the time. You want to hear an album back in the day, you have to spend 10, 15 pounds to go and buy that one album, and you're just hoping that you like it. Do you know what I mean? Now you can spend £10 a month on a streaming platform and get access to billions of songs. Do you know what I mean? So these are kind of things that show that it's very easy just to put music out there. So I know you mentioned that, Numbz, in what you were saying, but if I was to ask you what you feel is the hardest thing about what you do, whether it be rapping, whether it be making beats, what have you, or just putting music out, because obviously we know we all love what we do. You love what you do, that's why you do it. But what would you say is the hardest thing about what you do?
You gotta put the legwork into communicating. Like getting your music out. You know what I'm saying? That's the hardest part. Like I mean, Furious to tell you, like I write a verse in 10 minutes. Like that's not even like I go from like not even like thinking about rapping. He send me something, I'm like, boom, I'm sending him a verse back. So the making of the music is the easiest part of it all. Honestly, it's just like finding those pockets of people that want to hear it. And like, and Twitter's a good place for it. I over the last 2 years on Twitter, like I went from having like 6 followers to, a good amount now and a good support base. But I just think getting a chance, getting it in the hands of like E and Slack, because you guys are huge cosigns. Ruben, Kill, those cosigns have helped me a whole lot as far as like getting people more into music. But I just think like getting it to the people, and I saw someone complaining about streaming, right, and how artists should get more. Like I don't care about that. Like streaming gives people a chance to become a supporter. You know what I'm saying? Streaming gives people a chance to say, you know what? Let me see who this dude is. Let me go to his Twitter. Let me go to his Instagram. Oh, now he's really dope. Let me buy his CDs. Let me buy his vinyl. Let me buy his album. So I have no problem with streaming. I mean, they're robbing us. That's fine. You know, but no, seriously. But without it, like, no one's gonna buy my album outside of the people that I actually know. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually a great point. That is actually a very good point, because we do think about that with streaming a lot. The fact that people ain't getting much money from it, but it's so true. I guess if you look at it from the other perspective of what I just said about with the stream and how easy it is, like you said, if I went on Twitter or I've never met you or whatever, I'm not going to go and buy a record from you. I don't know who you are. Do you know what I mean? But like Slack said, he's been speaking to you on the timeline, reached out to you, said he appreciated your music. You know, a little bit down the line, we're here linking up now. It's an opportunity to say, oh, okay, cool. Let me go and listen to you know what I mean, what you got out there. That's a great point. I never saw it like that. It's a good point.
Well, I think that's a great point, because you love what you do. And I think if it's just a case of you're in it to make money, then you're not going to look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're just looking at it as, I'm going to put this out and I need to make this amount of money, rather than I'm doing it because I love it and I just hope someone pays some attention to it or someone catches on to it. That's the difference, I think, because a lot of people now, they just think of it as like a source of income. Like me and E do this show not to get any more viewers or subscribers or whatever. It's like, if you rock with it, you rock with it. If we get 50 views, we're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna be like, we need the 2,000 views on this one. We need 3. We don't put that kind of pressure on ourselves. People will find us. You know what I mean? And that's what I think will help you grow. Like, if you do something that you love, eventually you're gonna reap the rewards, man. And I think that will work. So yeah, streaming does definitely have its benefits, but they definitely need to pay you guys more, man. Let's not be about the push, man. You guys need to get more per stream, man, because it's crazy out here.
Yeah, no doubt.
It is, man. But yeah, great point. Stylez, what would you say is the hardest part of what you do?
Well, you know what, me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
You know, when I came back into producing, I came back in 2020 during COVID. You know, that's when like the trap and everything, the drill, that's when it was dominant. So for me come in with the boom bap sound, I was getting demolished. They were, oh my God, they was, where's your 808s, bro, and things like that. So me having to fight through the little pumps and the little yachty sounds and the tight beat guys, me having to fight through that. I tried BeatStars, I tried everything, and nothing was working. I hadn't used my Twitter since like 2013.
Wow.
That was my last resort. I was like, I wonder if my Twitter still works. You know what I'm saying? And I tried that, and it was just like an oasis of rappers. I was like this was the place I was not going to try. So me having to just figure out how to use social media. I knew how to make beats. I just had to figure out how to use it with my social media. That was the hardest thing. Because, I've been making the beats since a teenager. That was nothing to me. That was like, okay, I could do this, but how can I get heard? And how could I? Because, I went to college and everything. So my social media was strictly based around like my fraternity and college friends, high school friends. So I went from switching my name. My real name is Willie Red. It went from Willie Red to who was Furious Stylez? You know what I'm saying? So I had to slowly transition that into like showing people, oh yeah, I make beats again. So that was the toughest part, trying to become who I am now. And so now people went from, oh, you make beats, and so now, oh, you make beats. So it took a little time, for me. I went through a lot of no's, a lot of left on reds and things like that. Because who would take? You knew me since I was 15. Like, you ain't taking me serious. So I had to deal. So you see, I'm from the Midwest. I had to go over to the East Coast to New Jersey and find Numbz to get heard. You know what I'm saying? And now people notice me back at home. But yeah, I reached out home first.
Right.
But of course they're like, when you start making beats, dude? I'm like, but that was it though. But basically, like, now they see.
Yeah.
A lot of times though, they say that home is the hardest part to crack, right?
Absolutely. Definitely. All the time.
Yeah. Definitely. Just quickly before I hand back over to Slack, just with what you were saying there, did you two meet on social media then? Because you're completely, so you hooked up on social media and started. I should have made it clear from the beginning. Actually, you guys, you're not a duo, but you've dropped a few projects together that obviously we will talk about and promote a bit more later on. But so you guys just sort of hooked up on social media, liked each other's style, and started working with each other like that, yeah?
Yeah, I'll let him tell it.
Yeah, like I said, I was trying to figure out like how to reach somebody because I said I got a lot of no's, a lot of left on reds, things like that. And but I was like doing a lot of rapper recon. I was like an assassin. I'm just looking. And before Numbz used to never show his face, but they had just dropped Raise the Bar 2, and I was like, there's a guy on here, and I know I can like make beats for him. And I could never find him. But then, one of those hip hop like outlets, somebody said something and I commented and he laughed. And I was like, that's the dude. So I DM'd him. And I was like, look, man, I was like, you don't know me. I mean, guys, when I met him, I didn't have a distro. I didn't have a DSP. I didn't know what a Spotify was. I didn't know anything. I didn't have anything. And so I was like, man, I can make beats. And so I sent him some beats. He was like, oh, that's cool. So I was like in his range. But then he went on my Instagram and found a Titty Pendergrass beat that I flipped, which became the song Higher off Legacy Loading. And he made one song. And I've never worked with a guy that works like him. He recorded the song fully and sent it back the same day. I've never seen that in my life.
Wow.
I love that.
So, yeah. He did that, and then I guess he let people around him hear it, and it was like, man, you should do a whole project with him. So it went from one song to 2-3 years later,
That's so good, man. I like that.
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
Man, that's great, man.
I think that was early June 2021, and I mean, since then there hasn't been a day where we haven't spoken on the phone or text. Like literally, I flew out when we dropped Reloaded. I flew out to Memphis. So we could celebrate together. So we chilled for the weekend, cooked up some beats together. And we ended up doing the Family Ties beat together on the posse cut that we did.
Love that.
And then we start working on the deluxe that weekend. You know what I'm saying? So
wow.
Yeah, we just rock like that. Like ain't like a lot of these people literally just sent emails back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very transparent with him. I'm like, all right, can you move this here, move this here? I'm like super hands-on working on stuff. But now he just knows. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll send me a beat and he already knows that I want it. Like that's that's kind of where we are growth-wise.
That's dope, man. So that's reminiscent of one of my favorite groups, the Foreign Exchange, where you kind of, met over the internet. Right, and then it just gels. It just works so well together. Because if you put Nekale and Fonte, you would be like, what's that? But when you hear what they put together, it's like, wow, that's it was meant to happen. Clearly, you guys, it was meant to happen. You was meant to meet. You was meant to make music. You guys sound great together. It doesn't sound like it's forced. And you obviously created a brotherhood from that. So more power to that, man. That's great to hear. 100%. So, that kind of leads really nicely on to the next question that I've got for you guys is, what part of the creative process is your favorite? So obviously you guys have met on the internet and you guys have kind of liked what each other's doing with your beats, with the rhymes and stuff. But what would you say is the best part of the creative process for you guys?
I would say just like, getting the feeling from like when we're in album mode, like anytime he sends me a beat video, like that's my favorite part of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, all right, because I just know it's gonna be crazy. And again, if it doesn't hit, I'll just let him know. Like, ain't like he hasn't played me a whack beat, but sometimes the beat's just not for me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But just getting the text, and then you see it scroll on top of your screen, and you see the NPC, and I'm like, yes, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Or he'll be at he'll be like, yo, I picked up some new records. You know what I'm saying? Because we did all vinyl samples on this one because we wanted that feel.
Right.
We wanted that feel, and you could probably hear it more on the song Pressure, and I know you rock with the NJ the Philly song, so you can kind of hear the joint on that. But when he sends me the beat, in fact, I mean I'm going off a tangent, but like NJ the Philly was the last song I wanted because I told him. I know there's this whole debate, drumless, drums, whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really do the drumless. I say, yo, we got 10 songs. I need one drumless, and that was the NJ the Philly joint. That's my favorite song on there. Bro.
That's my favorite song on there.
but yeah, I wasn't submitting the album until I got it. I kept hitting him, and then I remember I was driving somewhere. He sent he sent the beat, I just called him on FaceTime and I just stared at him for like 20 seconds. Like, like, yo, what is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? And I wrote it, recorded the same night, man.
That's dope, man. So, because I used to write a lot as well, and certain beats just speak to you, and I think certain beats you just hear, you're like, this is what I want to say to that song.
For sure.
This is what I want to say to that instrumental. Like, you just know, like, you don't have to overthink it. And I think sometimes if you overthink it, that's when it doesn't come out as you want. But when you hear it, sometimes like you can go through 10 beats. Even when we were picking the instrumental for our intro, Killer sent us like 20 beats, and the first one spoke to me immediately.
Right.
And then I went through the others and I was like, these are all dope, but this is the one. And I said to E, I was like, yo, this is the one, bro. And he was like, bro, I have picked that one too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So music just speaks to you immediately sometimes, man. So that's dope.
Yeah.
What about you, Furious, man? What's your favorite part of the creative process?
Oh, like you said, it's the digging, man. Like you said, we used to just come from our phones and the internet. And but now, recently, I live in Memphis, so it's record stores and everything everywhere. And I'm a commercial driver for the city of Memphis. And one day I was doing my job, it was pouring down rain, and somebody threw away a big old box, and I just happened to look inside of it, and it was full of vinyls. I was like,
oh man,
wow,
crazy.
I put it in my truck, and my wife had bought me a turntable a couple months before for my birthday. I wasn't using it, and I hit up Numbz. I'm like, dude, I just found a box of records, dude. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just see. Let's try this. And then and once I figured out and I heard that crackle, y'all, I was like, oh. And ever since then, since December, man, it's been straight vinyls. And anytime I go back home to East Chicago, I go to the Goodwill every 2 weeks. I hit Numbz. I'm like, I'm going to the Goodwill. So that's like our thing now. You know what I'm saying? So it's the digging, man. It's finding it. And you can go to record stores and they'll let you hear it. I don't want to hear it. I just look at the cover. If the dude looks like he's on drugs, if the dude looks like he's selling weed or something, that's when I know. I'm like, that's what I need. I just look at the cover, man. It's the cover for me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I like
that's crazy.
Isn't it? All right, so staying in the vein of music and producing. So obviously, Numbz, I know you write as well, but reaching out to the producer side of you now. Who's an MC? Anyone, could be underground, commercial, or both. Who's an MC that you would love to hear over your beats?
Oh man, I'm gonna go Ransom, home team first.
Okay.
Jersey.
In fact, I don't know if y'all know, I used to be one of the hosts on the Great Mind podcast. So we had Ransom on a couple of times. So I built a pretty cool relationship with him. But I haven't crossed over to my artist side because I kind of want to keep everything like that. But Ransom, Sky Zoo for sure. Trying to think who else. I think I could do some crazy stuff with RJ Payne. So I would say those probably the top three right now that I would want to link up with and lock in with for sure.
So three of the most consistent right now, for being honest as well. Like
none of
them drop anything whack, like at all. Like Sky Zoo, I think the first project I heard from Sky Zoo was about 2009. The project he did with Knife Wonder, Cloud9. He hasn't dropped anything whack since then. That's a crazy run.
Ridiculous. I mean, unpopular opinion for me, he's got a top 10 catalog in my opinion.
Definitely.
I heard that.
Counting from 09 to the last joint he did on the Franklin State, man, he's ridiculous.
It's just always top level, always.
Right.
You just know it. As soon as he says I'm dropping something, I just know it's going to be crazy. Like, I don't have to second guess it.
For sure.
No, there's no doubt about that. And I think the three people that you mentioned as well, I don't think it's impossible. Do you know what I mean? Because I think they're all quite active on social media as well. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know Kills produced something for RJ Payne a couple years back.
And that was crazy as well.
It was fire, no doubt. So that's what I mean. So you got, hey, it could happen, man. You never know. Could be something in the pipeline pretty soon.
We'll tag them on the show.
I was gonna say if I put a beat on the timeline, feel free to tag them. I ain't mad at it.
You need to do what we're doing, man. Furious, what about you? In regards to as a producer, who would you say? We'll follow Numbz pattern. If you like your top 3 that you would like to hear over your beats.
Well, my favorite rapper is Busta Rhymes.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, that'd be
I've
great.
loved Busta Rhymes. I love Busta Rhymes since I was a kid. I remember one Christmas, I didn't want anything else. I woke up, I looked at my stock, and I had Extinction Level Event. I didn't care about anything else. You know what I'm saying? When she gave me that, that was the best Christmas gift I ever got in my life. I was like, you gave me ELE. You know what I'm saying? That was, you know, I love Busta since the beginning. Of course, being from East Chicago, Twister. You know, that's the home team. You know, because I could make that style too. And you know, and I'm a Griselda fan. You can give me the machine, man. Give me Conway. I can make that too. You know what I'm saying? So I'll let her make that. And I'm Numbz gonna say something, but hey man, give me Slim Shady too.
You know, an Eminem fan. I'm
gonna bring the Marshall Mathers LP Eminem back. That's what I want to do. I want to bring that back.
We like that Eminem. We like that.
I've said for a long time, man. All Eminem needs to get my attention again is better production. Oh yeah, all the albums that he's released like recently, the beats have been horrible, like horrendous. I can't listen to it. Right. If he just gets a good, he's got Alchemist and all these guys around him, and I'm just like, just use them, bro. You got Dre, what's going on? Like you're picking these weird beats. All he needs is a producer to lock in, and I still think he could drop a crazy album.
Yeah, you know the lyrics aren't the issue.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. I'm saying just like I want to take him back to the Marshall Mathers LP. You know what I'm saying? I want that sound. That was amazing. I love the sound of it. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. I can help with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we're gonna have to tag some. We're gonna have to tag some people in at the end of this, man, to see what we can get out of it. That would be crazy.
Yeah,
definitely, man. Nah, they're good picks, man. I hear that. Good choices. Good choices.
Coming back to kind of what we was talking about before, with regard to the current climate of music and stuff like that. It was just a question that came to me because I was thinking about the comparison between streaming and actually going out to physically buy music. Because there's such a big difference. Like what he was saying before, like if people haven't really heard you or know you, they're not going to go out and buy your stuff. Yeah. But do you prefer being able to drop whenever you like? Because we're in a digital era, so you can say, do you know what, I'm gonna drop on a Friday, or would you prefer to be able to really do the old school kind of build up to when your album was going to drop? Like back in the day, we'd have like a 6-month lead up to an album. So we'll have the single, we'll have the posters, we'll have the video, and then the album might come out like 3 months later or something like that. But now it's like, I'm dropping on Friday. Like, be ready. So do you have a preference?
Yeah, I like the freedom. I feel like if you ask anybody in 1992, they would want the freedom too. You know what I'm saying? Like the rule for me when I knew an album was coming out is when I saw the commercial. Like that always made it official. But I think I love the freedom to be able to do whatever I want. I'm very strategic with my rollouts as far as like time I'm posting it. I survey the field, see who's coming out. Like I'm not getting roundhouse by ransom, you know. Like I'm realistic with stuff like that, and then I just kind of like to let my music breathe as much as possible too. So like if I drop an album, maybe I'll do a single, or I'll do something with another artist or something like that. But that freedom is just like, you know, just to be like, you know what, you recorded something nice, but I want to put this out next week. Like I love that, man. That's like that's my favorite thing. I do love the era of like the build up of the album and stuff like that. But as an MC and now in the era we live in, like, oh, you got something out. Like you're your own record label. Like who doesn't want that type of control?
That's actually a good point, man.
What about you, Furious? You on the same page, bro?
Well, you know, I'm gonna keep it real. I miss being able to walk to the record store. You know what I'm saying? I miss that. That was a part of my life. I remember walking from my house 4 blocks to go get Veni Vidi Vici. That first Ja Rule was crazy to me. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then walking back with my Walkman and my little CD player, reading the credits. That's why I keep Spotify, just so I can see who produced the beat and stuff like that. I miss that. But I like you know what I'm saying? I definitely love being able to be like I said, talk to you guys, and I can upload something right now. Or while I'm going on a trip, I could do that. I can have something going. But that walk to the record store, that was a different feeling, man.
Yeah, different, man. So, different. It made the album a bit more special because I remember when Dog Food dropped, and it was snowing outside, and I was like, damn, like, how am I gonna get to the shop to go and get this? I just jumped on my bike, man, and I rode all the way to Tottenham to go get this album. And like you said, man, I put it in the player on my way home, and the whole way home while I'm riding my bike, I'm just listening to the album. And then that just gives you a memory, because now if it just drops and it's on your phone, you're not gonna really remember like, oh, we're here when I first heard the album. You know what I mean? It doesn't give you that story about when you first heard the album. So that is always special to me. And like you said, it's a big part of my life, like big part of my childhood. So I do miss that, but I do also totally understand from an artist perspective. If you've recorded something crazy, sometimes you're just like, it's so hot, I just need people to hear it now.
Yeah,
I don't need for it to cook or wait or marinate for any longer. I need people to hear this shit right now. So I think it's good that we kind of got that freedom right now as well. So I could definitely see both sides of the coin.
It's funny, Slack. You had a story. I remember the We Are the Streets album came out. I believe it was January, maybe
2001,
2000, yeah.
Well, whenever it was like it was a snowstorm in Jersey. It might have been like 4 or 5 inches. And it was a Saturday. It's a spot called Johnny's. They used to get the CD the Saturday before the Tuesday of the drop.
Right.
So I remember me and my boy drove like 10 miles in the snow just to get the We Are the Streets before everybody else.
Wow.
Like, and again, that was 20 plus years ago. And that's back to what you're saying with the story. With streaming, I just would have been up to midnight and just played it.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, like I said, but on the artist side of things, and I think if you talk to artists, just imagine how many artists have things that aren't out because the label wouldn't put it out for whatever reason.
Oh man, great point, bro. Great point.
Like there's probably classics that we've never heard.
We've never
going to hear.
Yeah,
right.
So speaking from that perspective, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think about that a lot, man, because I worked in the music industry for a while, and I know that there's a lot of artists who have recorded some crazy. Busta Rhymes has a crazy album with DJ Scratch that we'll never hear.
That's crazy.
So there was a few samples because you know, to Give Me Some More beat with the Psycho sample. Scratch had gone and he had done another couple movie samples, and Busta had gone over those. And I remember reading about it, and I was like, I'm sure this is going to be absolutely insane. Right. And the Scratch was saying, what we've got is crazy. He said, if you think that was crazy, this is insane. So I was just waiting to hear it, but it never dropped because of sample clearance. So all of this kind of stuff that we'll never actually get to hear, man, it's annoying.
Yeah,
that's a good point, man. All right, so obviously we're going to understand a bit more about you and the questions we've been asking, and before we wrap up, we're going to obviously give you an opportunity to just promote your work, you know what I mean? But my last question for you then, just so that the viewers get a little bit more insight into you. So Numbz, I'll start with you. My last question for you would be, in regards to classic hip-hop albums, yeah? Obviously there's always talk on the timeline, this is classic, that ain't a classic. What would you say are 3 classic hip-hop albums for you? Like 3 albums that are damn near perfect for you.
All right, I'm gonna give you my 1, 2, 3 right now.
Oh, okay, let's go.
All right, so I'm gonna start with 3, right? This is an old Kanye, College Dropout.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna go with number 3. And the reason I chose
Furious would agree with that one, I'm sure.
And the reason I chose College Dropout is because I feel like Kanye I was finishing college around that time, and Kanye was one of the first rappers, obviously like guys like Common and stuff like that, but like he was one of the first rappers that like I resonated with, that didn't need to like kill people in his bars, didn't need to rap about drugs. I felt like he just kind of, and this is old Kanye, we know. It just felt like that's like the first album like I felt like I resonated with as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like I understood Mobb Deep, Hov, Nas, obviously. I understood all that, but like for me personally, I was just like, wow, you can rap like this. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I thought that was powerful. Number 2, The Blueprint. I loved everything about it. I loved the sound of it. I love the beats he chose. Those are beats I definitely would have chosen. And when that dropped, 01?
01, yeah.
9/11. Yeah, I just think that was a perfect album for me. And then number 1, man, Life After Death, man. That's
okay, cool.
I thought, I just thought it was a bulletproof album. I flipped side to side about which side I like better, but the 3-song run at the end of side B is just something crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
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 Was it like Downfall, You're Nobody? I forget the third one off the top of my head, but yeah, those 3 albums are bulletproof for me.
And Big was 24 when he wrote the album, man.
Yeah.
That blows my mind every time I think about it.
I know it's just almost like like guys like that was so ahead of their time that fate had it that they got that off. Like that's like a 35-year-old, 40-year-old man writing those rhymes.
Right.
So but yeah, those are my 3 for sure.
Dope.
No, that's dope, man. Imagine what Big's third one would have been like as well. I was just talking about that with the missus yesterday, man. Imagine the third one would have been insane. And he probably wouldn't have been with Puffy for that album either. So that would have been mad.
That would have been crazy.
That's Slack Boy, right, Puffy?
Yeah, 100%.
He's coming around for dinner next week, man.
All right.
That's his biggest fan, trust me. I'm Furious. You good? Can you talk still? Yeah. What would you say is your top 3? Or, your...
First off, is Mobb Deep, Hell on Earth.
Right. Yes.
That right there. When I heard that, because a lot of people praise the Infamous, and it's an incredible album.
Of course.
But when I heard Hell on Earth, man, it sounded like a horror movie. I was like, do y'all hear this album? I was like, yeah, Infamous is dope, but I was like, Hell on Earth, it frightened me, but it was like in a dope way. I was like, this is crazy.
Crazy
and
album.
I play that all the time still to this day. Like I said, I'm a Twista fan, so Adrenaline Rush.
Wow.
Because when Twista came out with Adrenaline Rush, he took the Midwest by storm. I'm telling y'all, we like everybody, like I said, where I'm from, if you couldn't rap fast, you couldn't rap, so for everybody was doing the Twista style, like people could say what they want, like the Bone stuff. We didn't care about none of those dudes. Of course, we love East 99, but Adrenaline Rush, number 1. And then I'll say Wu-Tang, man. You can give me Wu-Tang forever.
Wu-Tang forever. Okay.
Wu-Tang forever over 36 Chambers?
Over 36?
36, I was still kind of young, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I was maybe like what, 9?
Okay.
Right.
So so by the time, Wu-Tang Forever came back, I really started I had to go back.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was like 9, you know what I'm saying? When, you know what I'm saying? So I was like 93. So, what I'm saying? I was still learning, but by the time that 97 came, I was in it, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was there. I understood it. I was like, when I heard Triumph, I was like, this is the best beat I've ever heard in my life.
Ridiculous.
Then I went back and then, you know what I'm saying? Of course, Liquid Swords, shadow boxing is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, insane.
Shadow boxing, that was the dopest beat I ever heard RZA make. I ain't heard nothing better than shadow boxing. You know what I'm saying? So like, but yeah, you can give me Wu-Tang Forever, Adrenaline Rush, and Hell on Earth, man.
Yeah,
was like that molds me.
Great picks. Hell on Earth, man. That's one of those albums. Because I was still listening to the Infamous when that album was coming out, and I remember seeing an ad for it in the Source, and I thought, is this an actual album or is this what's going on? Because it wasn't the norm for you to drop an album the year after you dropped the album. Right. So Infamous came out in 95 and Hell on Earth came out in 96. So I was like, is this actually happening? So when it came out, I bought it and I was like, I wasn't sure what to expect. My God, blew my head off when I heard that album.
Insane, man.
Still remember to this day how big that album was.
My favorite Mob album, without a doubt. And even the intro when Havoc's just saying, we got to do it again. What we done on the last album, but better. And I'm just like, it just gives me chills, man. Like, incredible album. But it's funny how everyone describes it like that. It's just so dark and it's gloomy, man. But it's just,
dude, that was some of the best production I ever heard in my life, man. I'm like, dude, like I said, it makes me mad when I hear about the Infamous and I never hear about Hell on Earth. I'm like, dude, and even just the color, because my last name is Red. The whole cover is red. I'm like, dude, this is like, it's just attention grabbing. I'm like, dude, look at the cover, man. Like, it's just, man, it's like a score for a movie, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly that.
So Furious, man, I need to ask you this, bro. Did you get your name from Boys in the Hood?
Of course. All right, so check it. This is how I went because I'm a hood movie fan. I've seen almost every hood movie you can find, even to the City of Gods. I've seen stuff like that. And so when I saw Boys in the Hood, I was like, Furious. That sounds like a rapper name. So I'm like, dude, that's a dope name. No, it sounds like a rapper name, but I can't rap. But of course, every producer, I don't care what they say, your first person you learn with was yourself. Because before you started trying to send beats to rappers, you practice on yourself, whether you can rap or not. So I was my first protege, and I was like, man, and back then I didn't have a name. My name is so like people think Willie Red is a fake name. So I'm like, I'm Willie Red, So and my label was called Red Eye Productions. And like I said, so when I came back into like the as far as COVID, I was like, I need something that stands out. I was like, and me being from the Midwest, I can make like Midwest beats. I can make boom bap beats. I can make this. So I was like, I'm gonna call myself Furious Stylez, man, because I feel like I can kind of tap into almost anything. So I just took it like that.
You know what? Willie Red will actually be a dope rap name too.
Nobody believes that's my name. People, I wear. If you see, I wear red like every day, like a cartoon character. I wear red like every day. You can ask Numbz. I wear red all the time, right? And I'm licensed. Right. I'm licensed. What Slack? Where I'm from, I'll just say this: red is the color. I'll keep it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I got you.
We wear red where I'm from. And so people think Willie Red is like a nickname. I'm like, dude, that's my real name. And like people even just say Willie, or they'll just say, "What's up, Willie Red?" It kind of flows. They'll be like, "Who you with?" I'm with E. I'm with Slack. I'm with Numbz. Willie Red. It's just like they say my whole name. So it's just like it's always been like that. And so I was gonna use my real name, but I was like, nah. You know what? I feel like I got different styles, and I come with it. Even like you said, when it went back to NJ to Philly, I'm not a drumless dude because where I come from, I need that knock, that bounce. Like even when I met Numbz, he had the real soul sound, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna add some bounce to that soul.
Yeah.
So that's why like the drums is me. So if you noticed before Numbz, before he met me, it was real deep soul. And I came and kind of heightened it up and kind of added more faster hi-hats. I might have like umped up like the tempo a little bit. The BPM is a little bit faster. So I kind of like brung that Midwest style to Numbz so we kind of fused the two. So what I'm saying? So I brung that furiousness to his soul.
Dope, man. Dope. What about you, Numbz, bro? How did you come up with your name, your moniker, and how did you decide about what your persona was going to be for your rap career?
So when I started at 13, it was the whole like mobster, Nicky Numbz. Lucky Luciano, all that. So my original name was Nicky Numbz. So he was like, this, like it was kind of a name. The guy, the slick guy, played a cut longer, and then it went from Nicky Numbz to Nicky Numbz, and then it went to Nick Numbz, and then it just went to Numbz. So it was a transition because everybody, like most of my friends, just was calling me Numbz anyway for short. Just kind of evolved over time. So just made it easier.
Cool. All right. Well, my last official question is Furious. You're from the Midwest. Numbz, you're from one of my favorite towns, Jersey. Redman is my all-time favorite rapper. Yeah. You got Trench out there. You got Lauryn Hill. You got Rod Digger. You got literally a plethora of amazing rappers from there, man. So kind of similar to what E was saying, man. Could you break down and could you try and be as unbiased as possible and give your top 3 artists from your region, or who would have inspired you to become what you are today?
Region, does that include New York?
No, let's just stay with Jersey.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna say, and this is crazy because a lot of people like Joe Budden was my favorite rapper for a very long time. I'm talking about pre-podcast, Mood Music Joe. Like he was truly a trendsetter, and he was good friends with a girl I went to college with, and a couple of my friends are from Jersey City, so he was real cool with them. So I did get an opportunity to hang out with him a couple times. It was right after like Pump It Up drop. The times I got to hang out with him, he was pretty cool. But Joe Budden, huge, because I think he was one of the first rappers that were just so transparent in his music, like almost too much.
Yeah.
At that time, I was just like, wow, but that kind of drew me in, and he could really rap. Like I think people forget. I think people forget with all the antics and all the other stuff. Like in his purest form, he's a very, very good rapper and a very skilled lyricist. So I'm gonna say Joe. I mean, Lauryn Hill, man. I mean, she's got one of the. I mean, you could call it rap, you could call R&B or whatever. She grew up not too far from me. Like it's, all in a small area where a bunch of us grew up. So I'm gonna say Lauryn Hill, a big influence because she was one of the first dual threats in hip hop, in the hip hop R&B realm. I'm gonna say her. I'm sorry, and then I mean, the Run Ransom is on now, man. It's just like it, and it's fairly recent. Like this wouldn't have been my answer 5 years ago, but like I don't know, man. I have a hard time finding a better rapper in the last 3 years. I'm talking about on any level.
I agree.
From like, and then like people challenge him like, oh, you can't write hooks. Then he writes hooks. Then he raps fast. There's nothing he can't do. Like the man is a genius. So I'm gonna go with those three, man.
Dope, man.
Yeah, they're good picks, man. Ransom's he's insane. There's no doubt about that. I was saying to Slack though, for me, on paper, he's probably one of the best rappers in the game right now. Full stop. But just something doesn't connect with me when I listen to his music. I don't know what it is, and I'm being really careful how I say this, but sometimes it feels like he lacks charisma sometimes, Okay. Sometimes it can just feel very like he's just rapping. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair.
But his last project with V-Don, listen, back to back, that's a beautiful project, man. And I was even saying to Slack, this might be my favorite Ransom project in a long time. So I think for me, maybe he needs to be over the right production for me. Right. Agreed with you, man. Level wise, yeah, he's easily top.
Some of the stuff he says, man, it's just what?
It's just crazy, man. Like to this day, well, my favorite album here is the Director's Cut 3, personally. Okay. But like the JD's Revenge, man. Like I don't like the stuff he was just saying in that song. I remember listening to the album at midnight. Like I literally couldn't finish the album because I played the song like 10 straight times. I'm like, I gotta finish this tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but no, I get what you're saying too. I'm like that with a few rappers. I'm not gonna say here. I'm not.
Everybody's getting ready to hear who you're gonna say.
You know what it is because you never know. Like these rappers are a lot more tapped in than you think, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you're tweeting something crazy, and before you know it, you lost a relationship. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, for real.
But there's certain, like I would never call a rapper whack that's like putting in more work than me or somewhere I want to be. So like them being whack to me means nothing. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so to you. I get what you're saying. Like there's a lot of rappers that like I respect, but they just don't connect with me as well. So I do understand that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Good picks.
What about you, Furious? Well, what's your top three from the Midwest, bro?
Well, I'll say because he was one of the first ones I've seen like as a kid that actually blew up. I'm gonna say Common, because he was one of the first ones I've seen that was actually like people knew him outside of the area. Of course, I got to go with Kanye. I got to. You know what I'm saying? Like those early like first 3 albums when he was doing with Rockefeller was insane.
Agreed.
Those beats was like I was like, dude, he brought that soul sound. Like he took it to a whole different level. And then let me see. I'm gonna say him again, man. Like I said, I'm a Twista advocate, man.
Twista. Oh yeah.
I got to because of course, I think that's one thing that drew me to Busta because of the fast flow. So for him to be able to break through and he was affiliated with Rockefeller and stuff like that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like this dude. Like I remember seeing him bring his album into the record store, and then this dude is rapping with Rockefeller chains on. I'm like, this is crazy. So like that was just amazing to see because I saw his grind from wearing the Gucci and the Coogee sweaters, and I remember seeing him. So that was dope, man. So Twista is like he's not super big to a lot of people, but to us, he's huge.
I think he's underrated, to be honest with you.
Oh, he is, man.
One of those dudes, man. Like people just think he raps fast, but listen to what that verse that he dropped on Po Pimp, right?
Listen,
that is one of the craziest verses I've ever heard in my life.
And people don't know, like, you know, when that fast style really kind of started to catch on a little bit, you know, he went against Bone. This is on YouTube. You can find it. Of course, you know, back then.
I remember it.
Yeah, back then it was called Midwest Mobsters, and it was called Straight Up Gangsta-ish. You know, we could buy, and it'd be like big diss battles. It was Bone dissing Twister dissing Bone. I think maybe even Tech 9 might have got into it. Like all the fast rappers were like going at it. And, you know, we was all for it, man. You know, people don't know it, man. He's done his stuff, man. He's been around. He had to hold up that title and everything.
Yeah, I remember that, man. I remember. So to wrap up, man, what's next for you guys? I mean, your last project, man, I loved it. I told both of you guys that, you know, that was probably like my favorite project from you. So you guys just continually building and getting better and better. Your relationship is obviously getting closer as you get to know each other better, get to know each other's sound, get to know each other, what you like and all of that. So what's next, man? What's on the horizon for both of you?
All right, well, I got I'm producing a project for the Cleaver. That I'll be fully producing.
Respect to the Cleaver.
Yeah, man, definitely.
I'm also producing a full project. I think I don't know if you checked that out, Rome Mallory, super dope. He was on my last two albums actually. So I'm producing an EP for him, and I'm working on a concept album that I've been working on over a year. Dope concept, man. I can't wait for y'all to hear. I'm probably gonna drop that like in the fall. And then, like, you know, me and Furious will work on something probably next year. Like, we like to let it breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Let the other MCs and producers breathe a little bit. So yeah, that's what I got for now. And then, like, you know, just posting my production online. You know, I'm always getting some inquiries when I'm dropping beats, and you know, if the fit's right, you know, I'm open to work with a couple other artists, and that's really it. And then me and Furious will be doing, you know, some loosies here and there, but yeah, so a little bit of everything, really.
Dope, man. You know, we'll be here to support as well, man.
Appreciate that.
100%.
Furious, have you left us? Are you still there, bro? He's back. What's next on the horizon for you, bro?
Can you hear it?
Sure.
We might have lost him.
Yeah, he'll be back though.
Yeah, I know he's working on you know, he'll be doing his basements, I know for sure. And he's working on an album I'll be doing a couple joints on with some other artists. So he'll be announcing that soon. I'll let him do that.
Yeah, that's cool. Tell us a little bit about Trifecta before we wrap up. Obviously, it was your last project and that.
Trifecta, this was our third project. This was our third project together. Trifecta was the third one. And you hear us, Furious?
Yeah, somebody tried to call me. I had to come back in.
Okay.
I was explaining Trifecta. So basically, it was like the third album we did together. It was just kind of like, you know, we completing the trifecta, you know, just showing growth between each step. This album, I felt like I was my most vulnerable as far as like letting people in behind the curtain. That was one of my goals on that one, and just kind of, you know, get some variations of flows, variation of type of songs and stuff like that. So we just kind of put it together and use all vinyl samples. That was one of, you know, something we were intentional about.
Yeah. So that's a good project, man. Definitely.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
It really is, man.
Curious, before you cut out, man, I was just asking what was next on the horizon for you. Numbz was kind enough to kind of give us a little.
Go.
He's back.
There we go. No.
We can't hear you now, bro.
He could just say he don't want to tell y'all, right?
Exactly. That'd be much easier. So, man, we'll wrap the show, man. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been really dope getting to know your process and where you're at and your trajectory. And I can only imagine that more and more people are going to tap in, man, because the music's dope. You guys are dope. So we wish you the most success, and obviously, like I said, we'll be here to support like every step, man, because we really rock with you guys. You know what I mean? So
people keep trying to cut me off. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Here we go. I'm sorry. All right. So
we're just wrapping up now, bro.
Sorry about that. My EP series, The Basement, actually just came back today.
Okay.
I just dropped the 11th one. Actually, I've been in Memphis for like 9 years. I actually got a Memphis artist that drops today for the first time. So so that's back. That's kind of like my version of a Gangsta Grills and things like that. So I work with guys like Numbz, but then I also find guys you've never heard of. I think you're dope, cool. And so it's pretty dope. It started off with just an idea last year, and actually I did 10 in 2022, and so now the 11th one came out today.
Oh wow, okay. I'll be sure to check that as well, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, it's pretty dope, man, and it actually works out for the guys. If they have like an album coming up, they'll kind of drop that and they'll kind of lead up into their album and things like that. So it works out for both of us.
Yeah, and I like that, man.
Yeah,
definitely,
it's
man.
pretty cool.
So, thank you for rocking with the My Type of Hype podcast as always. Guys, I'm gonna let you plug your music, man. So whatever you want the people to know, now's your chance.
Okay. We're running a vinyl campaign. So we got to sell 100 vinyls. We're like directly at halfway right now. We got about 7 weeks left. So that's on Crates, QRATES. And we'll share the link with y'all if y'all could put it in there.
Absolutely.
We're about halfway through the campaign. They go for $27. We've been moving them, so we got like 7 weeks left because we thought this project was super special. So we needed to. We wanted to get some physicals on this, and they ship everywhere in the world. So, anybody interested in that, I can share the link with you all too after we get off.
Please do.
Yeah, do that.
And I'm on Twitter, Numbz the number 16, NUMBZ 16. On Instagram, it's Numbz Music. So, just appreciate y'all.
Thanks for coming on, bro. Furious, what about you, bro?
Yeah,
tell the people they can find you.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, Furious_Stylez with a Z, with the number 6 at the end. Like I said, I'm always making beats. You can find my beat videos. I'm always looking for new MCs. A lot of people think I'm just Numbz soul producer. No, man, that's my boy. That's my boy. You know what I'm saying? But I work with everybody. I mean, if we can link, if we can sync up together, then yeah, I'm not biased, man. People think he only works with Numbz because Numbz on everything I make, regardless of whatever. That's my boy. He's the first guy to give me a chance. So yeah, I'm definitely like, Numbz my guy. I don't care. Because when people telling me no, he didn't even know me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that Numbz will always be my dude. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate him for that. And I appreciate you guys.
Hey,
always, man. Thank you so much, guys. It's been great. Like, it's been really good to get to know you a bit better, as I said, man. And I really enjoyed this episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode too. As always, your boy Slack in the building. We'll be back next week with a new episode. Man, take the people out.
Yes. Thank you, man. Numbz, Furious Stylez. Appreciate you coming on, man. That's a worldwide link up here, man. Yeah, I mean, worldwide link up. So it's good, man. But yeah, people, listeners, tap into their music, support them, and like we said, we was talking off air a little bit, but we're not just having any and everyone on, man. We really do like their style, we like their music, we like what they're putting out, and like Slack said, they're good people, man. We talk and chop it up on the timeline always, so it was really good to have you guys on as well. So appreciate you sparing the time, and obviously Furious Stylez. Listen, I commend you. You've been in an interview. You've been taking your daughter to the dentist.
My wife hit me up. You gotta take your daughter to the dentist. I'm like, what? Today? I was
that's
like,
commitment,
oh my God.
man.
No, you made it work, man. I respect it.
Trust me, man. Listen, anytime anyone anywhere says that men can't multitask,
that's a fact. Thank you.
But yeah, seriously, it's all love always, man. But we'll put your details on there. And as always, everyone, appreciate you being with us again. Back again next week, like Slack said, My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip hop and not just the hype. So from us, peace, take care. We'll see you soon, man.
Peace.
Peace, guys. See you next week.